Once your database is open, you will be taken to a default table object. Here, you can go ahead and design this table by going into the design view. Here, click design view, and it's going to prompt you to name the table. I'm going to call this table biodata. Press OK. Now I am in the default table area where I can now put in the different fields that I want to use for my database. This table, notice it says here that my ID has a primary key with an auto number. Now you can choose to let it remain as auto number, or you can choose to select whichever you want. I am going to change this to number so that I can put in the number. For example, the ID could be using like your TRN. Primary keys allow you to have fields that are common that will be able to use to link your tables in relationships, and we will talk about relationships soon. Now I'm going to go ahead and start putting in my other fields. You can even call this TRN if you want, but I'm going to just leave it as ID, seeing that we can use different forms of identification, and the different forms of identification will carry different forms of number. So we are using number, and I'm going to change. Now I'm going to put in all the rest. So I'll start with first name, and for first name we're going to use short text, and I'll be mostly using short text for them. So last name. Next, we have date of birth, and I'm going to use an acronym DOB. And just for you to know that we can put in description, so I'm just going to add a description here to say date of birth. And for the date of birth, I am going to use the date time for that field data type. Also, I am going to be putting in their phone number, and for phone number I'm still going to be using short text, and for their email address also will be using short text for these types. Now that we have done that, my table is complete. You can go ahead and add as many appropriate fields as you wish for your table. Just think of all the things that you would need to collect from someone if you're collecting their bio data. For example, you could collect their size, you could collect where they're from, their literal address, you could collect their work address, things like those. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create another table. To do this, we go to create, and we're going to create a table using the design view. Here, notice this table pops up. It doesn't give us a primary key because here there is no field that is being made or anything inside. So this is just a blank table. So we're now going to start by entering data for this table. This is going to be my medical table. So the first thing I'm going to put in is ID, and this will also carry the number. So this is going to be common, and as a result of that I'm going to link this field as a primary so that I can always have this ID number being recognized across the entire database to represent this person or the individual. Just to be clear, I'm going to be adding last name to it so that we can see that. Then I am going to put in the other fields. So I'm just gonna pause to save time on the video, and then when I get to a very important part I will be back. Another field, as you would have noticed, I've placed in some fields. The other field that I'm gonna put here now is the medical conditions. Now you could have gone ahead and put in the different types of medical condition fields and choose the yes, no, so that persons can check each medical condition. However, we can also use what is called a lookup wizard, and I'm going to demonstrate us using the lookup wizard. To do the lookup wizard, we will choose the values that we want to type, click next. Then I'm going to enter some medical conditions here. And I'm going to click next. I am going to say allow for multiple values in case persons have more than one type. We can check more than one. We could have limited it to the list of choices, but we want persons to be able to do so. Then we're going to hit finish, and now our lookup and conditions are okay. So we have completed this table. We are now going to save the table, so we can click save, and here we can call this table our medical table, and press OK. Now that we have completed that table, we're going to move on to one more table, and this table will be our payment table. So we're going to go back to create table design. Again, it pops up with this. I'm going to give it ID, choose number, call it my primary, and move in to add in the relevant fees that I need to have. So I'm just going to add the fields now. So I have added the different fields. I have put in the bank CCV, which is number on the back of the card, and I have placed the amount to be currency. So now that I have completed that table, I am going to move on now to saving this table, and this one is called payment. So now I have my three tables, and they are now ready. If I go to view them, they are now ready to receive information. So I can now add data inside my tables. All my tables are up and they are ready for me to add data to them. Now that I have done my tables, I'm going to move on to the next set of objects that we can use, and that is I'm going to be creating forms from my data tables.